All right, it is Wednesday evening of the League One season, so you know it's going to be League One on the Rocks night. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter at I'm Rich, but I'm not. Joined as always by the man opposite me here on the screen. Minority owner of FC Tucson, minority of owner of Oakland Roots, and then upcoming head coach of Central Valley Fuego. Brian, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Juggling a lot of balls right now. Um,
Yeah,
trying to grow the soccer pyramid in the United States. So no, not too bad though. We're doing okay out here.
you're like the mighty Atlas of the U.S. soccer pyramid, just carrying that whole thing
Yeah.
up on your shoulders.
Yep. Exactly.
I saw the Oakland Roots raise what, like $2 million or something like that,
Yeah.
with all the minority owners. So that was cool.
It's good to see. I mean, people want soccer.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to be jumping into week 28 previews tonight. We can talk a little bit about the week that just happened with week 27. We already had one match in week 28 tonight with Northern Colorado and Ford Madison battling it out to a 0-0 draw. We are moments away from North Carolina and Central Valley to start. I think that's going to be about 20 minutes. So that's going to be an exciting one. I do have that one primed up on the TV here, ready to go whenever it starts. I'm not going
Perfect.
to be watching that as we record, obviously. I'll be taking a peek every once in a while, though. Um, but before we jump into all of that kind of stuff, happy Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody. This is going to be a fun month. Plenty of festivities, plenty of um, good recognition, awesome merchandise out there. So keep an eye out for all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, always awesome merchandise. And I'll tell you what, the first team that comes out with a Day of the Dead inspired kit, I will be buying it
Yeah.
100%.
Uh, I saw that Richmond already came out with some merch, and that jersey and the scarf design, those are good designs.
Very nice, and good to see. Good to see the celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah, they jumped out in front of everybody. Not only did they announce it first, but they came out with a strong design too. So good for
Hmm.
them. All right, Brian, what are you drinking tonight?
I just got back from Vala's, and I had a couple of their ciders out there. So right now I am drinking water, but we do have a little bit in the system, so it should be a good show.
Nice. And for those of you who have been keeping tabs with what's going on with our show, we'll be having a new drink here pretty soon.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's coming your way this
Oh
weekend, man.
yeah, yeah. I've been dreading it. I knew it was coming, but what are you gonna do? We said we'd do it, and we are men of our word.
Yes, we are. So there's enough in here. Do you think Colin wants to do one too?
I don't think he wants to do one, but he will do one.
You gonna
Like,
make him?
I'll promise you that.
There you go. That's a good brother right there. Awesome. All right. Well, and as far as what I'm drinking, I am sticking with Miller Lite tonight. I'm keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple, keeping it classy, always. Miller Lite has one
Yeah.
of the coolest, most basic can designs out there.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's
I don't mind that.
it's a tried and true thing that hasn't changed in 40 years. So
Yeah,
why change? If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
exactly. All right, let's jump into some week 27 review here. So we had 3 clubs that were eliminated from the playoffs, and then we also had 3 clubs who clinched their ticket or punched their ticket into the playoffs. So it was a very eventful week 27. Nerves were on high for a lot of teams across the league. Um, Madison gets the clean sweep in the Henny Derby. You got a huge Tormenta win. Omaha gets their ninth straight win. Greenville has that huge win over One Knox. NoCo extends their win streak to 5 matches. Um, and then Lexington and Charlotte duked it out there to the very last minute. That was a fun one.
Hmm. I will say, yesterday I listened back to last week's episode, and we both were wrong about North Carolina Tormenta. Um, we did not see that coming. We did
Yeah.
see Union Omaha beating Chattanooga.
Yep.
Um, you incorrectly, I believe, chose One Knox to take Greenville,
I
and
did.
I correctly chose Greenville to beat One Knox. So,
Yes, you
like
did.
like I said, the John Harkes train just knows how to win. Um, I think we both chose NoCo over Central Valley as well,
Yep.
and then neither of us got this one correct, but I feel like I deserve a little bit for getting on Lexington's train and calling for Lexington to win, but they did draw, which for them right now against Charlotte, a very good team, should feel like a
Yeah.
win.
I don't know if I said it in the podcast if I had Lexington winning. I can check our Twitter stream real quick to see if I voted for uh Lexington or Charlotte. Let me scroll down to that one really quick. Um, which one was it again?
Lexington and Charlotte.
Lexington and Charlotte.
Maybe you did. Maybe I'm misremembering, which is very possible to be honest. I'm not running on a whole lot of sleep these past few days, so very possible.
Lexington and Charlotte. Oh, there we go. I voted for Lexington win.
Hey,
Hey,
there you go. Okay, so you got that one. So we tied the week.
yeah.
That's good.
You
We
get the tiebreaker though, because you had the Greenville win,
eh
and that was a hell of a prediction.
eh I mean, I feel like anybody really could have predicted that one if you would have just like I don't know, had a little bit more confidence in Greenville, which I it's tough because I don't know how I feel about Greenville most days. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah,
one of those teams that they'll probably draw more often than they'll lose, but at the same time, they lose some head scratchers. So they're one of those teams that's tough to figure out.
yeah. It's definitely been one of those seasons for Greenville fans. It's really hard to really pin an identity on them just because they show a different face every single time.
Hmm.
Whereas
But
some clubs, you know what you're going to get when they play on the road or at home, and or how they perform against a certain team. But with
mhm,
Greenville, it just seems to vary without any sort of causation.
yeah. Well, we've got some action here in the YouTube live chat as well. Um, Tim with Ranting Blue Penguin Media earlier said giggity at the beginning of the show. I don't remember what that could have been a reference to, but
Yeah.
um,
Did we have like a Quagmire discussion in there?
you must have had something, that's for sure. Tim, let us know what you heard. Um, the second is a puking emoji. I'm assuming that's going to be for the hot shot. Understandably
Uh,
so.
might be for my choice of beer too. So
Could be from your choice of beer, but I feel like Miller Lite's got to be. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but I would never hate on somebody for it for sure.
it's a yeah, it's a safe, choice for a beer.
Yeah. Chris Johnson coming in and saying, "I want Greenville to make the playoffs. It wouldn't be the same without them. It would be the first time that they missed out. So
Yeah.
that would be definitely be different for sure."
Yep.
And Tim clarifying that the giggity comment was for lots of ball juggling for the quote owner end quote.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah.
I just say things.
Did you see that press conference with the Iowa football, the quarterback who had like a couple different double entendres during his press conference?
No, I didn't.
It was good. I can't remember what the first one he said was.
Oh, I think I do vaguely remember that. He said something and he was just like, "Oh, hold on, that came out wrong," or
Yeah.
something like
The
that.
second one
Yeah.
was about, like, having a secure package or something like that, and yeah. And he was, like, trying to hold back his own laughter during
That's pretty
the
good.
conference. Yeah, it was a funny clip.
The only one from Iowa that I specifically remember recently was somebody dubbed over Brian Ferentz talking
Yeah.
about his 25 points a game and dubbed over it and said, "Well, yeah, I just hit 40 points a game, so maybe you guys should grab your ladders and climb out of my ass." I would respect him more if he would just come out and say that though. Just if he actually said that to the reporters, more power to you, man.
Yeah, he doesn't have many fans there in Iowa, but if he said that, man, he would get a lot more fans, that's for sure.
I think so, yeah. I wouldn't give him as much shit. That's for sure.
Yep. Alright, then as far as league news this week, we did have Stockley, well, I don't know if we reported it last week, but Stockley did, step down at the Lexington Sporting Club. He's gonna be taking over as the men's sporting director,
Mhm.
and, his assistant coach, Nacho Novo is gonna be taking, over. I think Nacho was even managing the club in that match against, Charlotte.
I believe you are correct, yes.
So, a bit of old news there, but it's still,
I think
relatively new.
I th yeah, I think that news came out after the day after we recorded or the day after we put it out, something like that. But
There we go. Okay.
it had to have been after the show, otherwise I'm sure we would have covered it.
Yeah,
Or maybe we did, and then if we did, we'll just cut that out and nobody ever has to know except for the people in the live stream.
exactly.
But they're not
Yeah.
gonna tell anybody, obviously.
Oh, obviously. That's the amount of faith and love that they have for us.
Right.
Michael's coming in saying Nacho was announced day of the match. So that would have been Sunday. So yeah, that was after
That was after the show.
we recorded. So thank you, Michael, jumping in to save us. All right. So we jump into our preview of week 28. So we do have two matches, like we said. We're waiting for that Central Valley and North Carolina match to start. It's going to be about 10 minutes from now.
Mhm.
Um, so you feel free to double screen all you out there that are watching and listening right
Yeah.
now. As far as the weekend matches, man, we are getting slammed with some good ones on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And starts off with a doozy with, Charlotte hosting Forward Madison.
Yeah, I mean, when you're when we're talking about these matches, this is another one of those that have pretty big playoff implications. Not necessarily in that either of these teams are in serious danger of dropping out, but more as placement.
Mhm.
So we have to remember the first two teams get a bye week in the first round. So that fourth place becomes very important if you want a home playoff match for the first round, and then the opportunity to host a second round if things go correctly. Um, which actually, you know what? Never mind. Cut that part out because that can't happen. But um, obviously, the higher the seed, crazy things happen in League One. You want to get to the third or fourth spot for the possibility of hosting the championship game after.
Yeah, and if you are either one of, Charlotte or Madison, I mean, if you just simply look at their performances at home and away, especially, yeah, I mean, Forward Madison is in 6th place, home and away, in the league, but
Mhm.
at home, Charlotte is nearly unstoppable in 2nd place with a 9-2-2 record with a plus 14 goal differential.
It's a great home team.
Yeah. They've only conceded 10 goals in
Mm.
13 matches, less than 1 goal per home match.
Hmm.
That's insane.
That is ridiculous. Again, they are the quietest good team I think we've ever seen in League One. Like
Yeah.
obviously everybody knows that Charlotte is a good team, but I don't think any of us, myself included, like realize how good of a season Charlotte has actually had. I mean, they're sitting at 12, 8, and 8 on 44 points. Like that's a fantastic season. But it seems like week in and week out, we don't talk that much about them.
Exactly. So, and I mean that if you take that one step further, if you look at Union Omaha, they've won 9 straight matches, yet they're in 2nd place.
Hmm.
You would think if a club goes 9 matches straight without a single loss or even a draw, that they're obviously gonna be in 1st place, right? No, because you have Northern Colorado who's streaking hot as well.
Hmm.
So this has been a season full of clubs having extended hot streaks. I mean, North Carolina went, what was that, like 9, 10 matches without losing?
Hmm.
So just consistently winning and drawing week in, week out, and
Yep.
just steadily climbing up the table. And actually, they were maintaining 1st place there for several weeks.
Hmm.
So yeah, for Charlotte to collect that many points and have that kind of performance at home, man, it's pretty crazy. The only losses they have on the season, um, they had a 3-1 loss to Greenville and they had a 2-1 loss to Fuego. They've had 7 clean sheets at home,
Damn.
and they've only had 3 matches where the opposing team scored more than 1 goal. So, obviously, those 2 losses, but then they ended up beating Tormenta 3-2. And, I mean, Tormenta playing on the road, that's pretty much a guarantee they're gonna score more than 1.
Hmm.
I know I'm saying this after they just visited Northern Colorado and didn't score a goal, but still, you know what I'm saying. They're a high scoring away
Right.
team.
Right. Right. You got to look at the average as opposed to singular.
Yeah, but even having 7 clean sheets at home,
That
that's
ridiculous,
amazing.
man.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, you look at Forward Madison on the road, 5 clean sheets on the road.
Mhm.
Now, Charlotte is a bit of a different animal, obviously, but Madison also is after the last match getting the win in Richmond. Have they righted the ship? That is the big question. Obviously, that's a big win. Um, it's a derby. It's the biggest derby in the league, and that's definitely going to be something that can carry some momentum. However, I feel like you also have to worry about the hangover from that, and not just the Henny hangover, but the actual hangover from the match as well.
Mhm.
So they're coming up against a very good Charlotte team, um, and right now this is really anybody's match, honestly.
It really is. This is one of those where you look at it and you think, "Man, I don't know, flip a coin."
Hmm.
Um, Because I mean, if you look at the way that Charlotte performed against Lexington, they were down. I think they had to rely on 2 second half goals to draw against Lexington, one of them being when Kalen Fox had that passing error
Hmm.
and, Dane Kelly jumped on it and finished it for the draw.
Hmm.
But I think Charlotte even had to rely on an own goal from Lexington to get back in the match.
Okay, I mean, good teams find a way.
Yeah,
It's just what happens.
but the point to what I'm saying is this is a team that, like you were saying, they're gonna find a way to win. When you have as potent goal scorers as they do on their team, it doesn't matter whose feet the ball is at. They're gonna find a way and they're gonna hurt you.
Hmm.
So for Forward Madison, this is gonna be a really tough match on the defensive end. This is gonna be a huge feather in their cap if they can get the win, though, because going down the final stretch of the season, beating Charlotte in Charlotte, that's a huge win.
Yeah, and I mean, beating them in Charlotte and um, moving even with them in points as well. Oh no, moving one ahead of them if they win in points.
Yeah,
So
one ahead.
yeah, Madison would move up to fourth place, dropping Charlotte down to fifth. Now, granted, again, still all of these clubs are within striking distance of each other from eight up. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's a huge opportunity for Madison to put a little breathing room between them and that sixth place. However, Charlotte, being Charlotte this season, have sat around this position the entire season. So you would have to think that they're comfortable and they know exactly what they need to do to win this match. And I mean, it's pretty simple, honestly. Just keep doing what you do at home and don't give up goals.
Yeah.
It seems like the
If
recipe to me.
if I'm one of those clubs that's battling to get into the playoffs, I'm gonna try as hard as I can to get that 6 seed instead of the 5 seed.
Yeah.
Um, because traveling to Charlotte in the first round of the playoffs, sorry, man, you're out.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. I think the other option, well, at this point, the other option is North Carolina, which, oh man, that's not much of a better option.
Yeah. Honestly, right now, I don't think most teams want anything to do with the top three teams at this point. I mean,
Yeah,
um, I feel like there's definitely Charlotte is one of those teams that can match up with a lot of these teams very well, though.
yeah,
Um, but by the end of the season, I think everybody will have played each other enough that everybody kind of knows how they play. So these should be some pretty good playoffs, pending the rest of the people coming in. Because we got three spots up for grabs. Can any of these teams clinch this? Can any team clinch this week? I suppose
so
is the question.
after Ford Madison drew tonight against Northern Colorado, they can no longer clinch. Actually, wait, hold on a sec. They might be able to. Um, they would need to, I think it was beat Charlotte, and then they would need Tormenta and One Knox to draw.
Hmm,
Well, no, because, oh wait, I'm looking at Madison. For Charlotte, yeah, if Charlotte beats Madison and then Tormenta and One Knox draw, then Charlotte clinches a playoff berth.
gotcha.
Madison can no longer clinch a playoff berth. So we only have one team that can clinch a playoff berth, and we only have one team that can be eliminated from playoff contention at this point.
Ah,
And we'll hit on that one later.
yeah.
But I do have an interesting development here. As I look at Charlotte's club by club performance against the clubs that could make the playoffs that they could face in the first round, they lost twice to Greenville. They lost to them in week 8, and then they lost to them and at home in week 8, and then they lost to them away in week 21. So Greenville once again showing up and taking the league by surprise.
Yeah. Doing what Greenville does. That is
Yeah.
what they do.
And then going down the stretch, even if Charlotte doesn't clinch this week, they've got a tough road ahead of them, but they do play twice at home after this week. So they host One Knox, they travel to Union Omaha, and then they host Tormenta.
Mhm.
Those are tough matches. Those are very tough matches.
Yeah, it's the second hardest remaining schedule in the league.
Yeah. Oof.
But
Good luck to them.
the only other schedule that is more difficult than theirs is the team that they're facing. Forward
True.
Madison at home versus Lexington, at Northern Colorado, and then versus Union Omaha after this match.
Yeah.
So, ah, and I mean, that's this is this is a really tough one to try to pick because both of these teams, y- I mean, you have one team in Charlotte that you kind of what you see is what you get, right? And you have forward Madison who has been so up and down this season that you don't know who's actually going to come out in this one, right?
Yep.
Um, the only clue that we have is when these two teams played in week 7 and played to a nil-nil draw. And these two teams are one of the teams that only play twice this season instead of 3 times. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, not a whole lot of history to go against, to go up with these two. So, I mean, if we want to look at overall, um, Charlotte has the edge here with 2 wins and 2 draws overall against Madison. Madison has not beaten the Charlotte Independents.
Never. Ooh, that's a stat.
That's that's tough, man. And
Yeah.
I just don't know where to go with this. I mean, it depends a lot on if forward Madison's midfield can get back to their mid-season form as opposed to their late season form. That to me is really the biggest key to this match because I think if forward Madison's midfield is back and it's healthy and they're playing like how they were early in the season, I'm going to have to say forward Madison takes this one and jumps
Ooh.
Charlotte. It's not going to be by much, but it will be in a way clean sheet. And I'm going to take forward Madison winning this one 1-0.
You're saying Ford Madison 1-0?
Forward Madison 1-0.
Man, you also have to take into account the goalkeepers on both sides
Mm-hmm.
because you got Austin Pack in Charlotte, and then um oh, who is it? Oh, Burn Shipman over in
Burn Shipman.
Madison. Oh, that's a hell of a showdown right there. So that's going to have a huge effect on the outcome of the match too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying 1-0 Ford Madison.
I'm going to take it.
I'm going to say 2-1 Charlotte. Let me think here.
Is he going to take it?
I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Charlotte. I couldn't decide if I wanted to go for the shutout or not, the clean sheet.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, it's really hard to pick clean sheets just, based on the league itself in general. Um, but I mean, 2-1 also sounds completely plausible. So
Yeah,
I can't say too much about it.
yeah. And the Central Valley and North Carolina match just kicked off. We're just 30 seconds into the match. So everybody double, triple. Well, now Tim's saying he's quad screening.
Quad screening. Where else are you watching, Tim?
Yeah, man. All right. So, oh, and this match kicks off at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So, I mean, I'm still going to be finishing my shift at that time. So I'm not going to be able to watch this one at all.
Hmm,
It should be a good one.
definitely.
Um, then we jump forward to the next one. We have Richmond Kickers hosting Greenville. Now, Richmond's already been eliminated from playoff contention, but they could play the spoiler as Greenville tries to gain an edge in their playoff positioning.
Hmm.
And this one is completely even across the board. Both clubs have 5 wins against the other club, and they have 2 draws. So this one goes back quite a ways, and it's very even.
Hmm. Yeah. It is. This match to me is less of a reason Richmond is going to play spoiler and more of a, I feel like Richmond is going to try to build a little bit of depth for next
Hmm.
season. Um, they just had those two young signings
Hmm.
that we talked about last week. I feel like you can get some time for these guys against a perennial powerhouse team in this league. Um, of course, would you want to play spoiler? Well, yeah, everybody wants to play spoiler. I mean, if you can ruin somebody else's season when your season's already over, it's all the better. And I'm a Husker football fan. Trust me, I know all about wanting to ruin people's seasons. Um, yeah, this one will be interesting. It really, honestly, to me, depends on which Richmond kicker team show up. Do we get Richmond kickers from the beginning of the season when they were playing well, or do we get mid to late season Richmond kickers?
Yeah. Um, I really like the way that you spun that at the beginning, though. Less about spoiling, but more about adding depth. That was good.
I feel like at this point you have to, I mean, it your season is over. You have
Yeah,
a couple matches left, but your club is not over. You can always be building for the future, and I feel like this is the best opportunity that you have to get these kids in the match.
yeah. And I think it's a great idea what you said of throwing the young players in there, getting them some experience, getting them some minutes. These are not these are still going to be matches that mean something, and you can create meaning in these matches even though you're not playing to make the playoffs. There's still something to play for, and you know that the opposition is going to be playing for something. So there's your way of stepping up your game. You know that they're going to bring it, so why not bring your game as well?
Mhm,
So putting the young players in that kind of a situation and in that kind of an environment, I'm all for it. Give them that exposure early on, give them plenty of minutes in that kind of exposure, and test their mettle, see how they
mhm.
do.
Yeah,
I do have full faith in those players that they signed. Both of them, I think, are still 16 years old. So they still have plenty of years of development ahead of them. The quicker you can get them assimilated to that style, that speed,
mhm.
they're going to be better off down the line.
Yeah, it's all about getting reps. I mean, especially at this level, the more reps you can get before you are a full-time rotating starter, the better off you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Um, I like that idea, personally, but who knows? Maybe Richmond goes in opposite direction and just wants to finish out their season strong, which is also another great building block. Even if you don't get some of your younger players in, but you're building confidence and you're building momentum going into next season to try to come back and make the playoffs. This is another perfect opportunity to do that.
Sure is. Yeah, this is gonna be a Greenville side that I mean, they're if they lose to Richmond, they could easily we could easily start talking about them losing their 6th seed to either One Knox or Tormenta. So this is gonna be a huge match for Greenville to get those 3 points, and secure their place, not clinching, but securing their place amongst those playoff clubs.
Mhm,
Um, so yeah, I'm interested in this match. I'm not gonna be able to watch it, but I'm interested in going back after the weekend is over to check this one out. There's gonna be a ton of good storylines to come from this one. Jared Mazzola in one net, Akira Fitzgerald in the other. You have the two youngsters over in Richmond. I mean, you still have the Leo Castro and um, the rest of the Greenville offense trying to pull some magic out of the hat.
mhm. Yeah,
I don't
and
know, man.
I mean the road is there for both of these teams. I mean, we look at Richmond at home, not very good. They're sitting at
Yeah.
10th in the league in home in their home winning ways, 3, 6, and 4. Whereas Greenville away, not that much better, sitting in seventh place, 5 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses. So, um, I mean, their last five don't look good for either side. 2 wins for Greenville, 2 losses, and a draw. And unfortunately for Kickers fans, 4 losses and 1 draw. So, um, Greenville being very hot and cold recently, and Richmond being very cold recently. So,
Yeah.
uh, unfortunately, Richmond is facing an uphill battle here. Um, However, they did best Greenville in week two, 1-0, before playing to a 2-2 draw in week nine. So, um, if Richmond can steal some points from Greenville, I would count that as a win at this point in their season.
Yep. I agree.
Tim over in the live chat with Ranting Blue Penguin Media asking, do you think Akira Fitzgerald plays?
That's a good
There's
question.
there's been some talk about whether or not Akira would play the rest of the season out.
That is a good question. It would give you an opportunity to give the backup more time. It would give Akira more opportunities to show his coaching acumen. Why not throw the backup in?
At this point,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
yeah. Um,
And I'd like to see how Akira does as a coach.
mhm. I mean, as far as do I think Akira Fitzgerald is going to play? I think he probably will.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so too.
but I could also see everything that you said, Rich. Maybe he doesn't play, and we look at these other qualities that he has because we've heard good things about it, and the fact that he could be um, taking a more coaching role as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a random question for you.
Love it. Let's go.
Because we have these two founding USL League One clubs facing off, I don't know if it's ever been discussed before, but maybe an entirely unique like trophy idea would be like the founders trophy. So you have 5 clubs that are still in League One going back to the inception of League One in 2019.
Hmm.
You have Greenville, Ford Madison, Chattanooga, Tormenta, and Richmond. How would you like the idea of a trophy created amongst those founding clubs to be awarded? I don't know how you'd like if it'll be round robin, if it would be, the team that finishes the highest at the end of the regular season. I don't know how you would want to determine it,
Hmm.
but how would you like the idea of a founders trophy to recognize those clubs who started from the very beginning?
I like the idea. Obviously, putting any more meaningfulness into some of these matches, especially when we get to like this point in the season, this would be a perfect opportunity um, for some of these teams, like unfortunately Richmond and Chattanooga, that are right now not playing for anything other than pride. So you throw a trophy in, and this match, which I'm sorry, this might upset some Greenville fans or some Richmond fans. It's kind of mundane compared to some of the other matches this weekend. Um, Not really a whole lot of implications, some obviously, but not nearly as much as others. But I love it. I think it would make competition around the league even better. So, again, like you said, I have no idea how you'd go about crowning a winner in this with these 5 teams, but um, definitely something to look into. And maybe maybe we figure out something between all the content creators for USL League One and try to figure something out.
Yeah. Maybe have like a separate standing consisting of only those 5 clubs, and whenever they play each other, you add, those data points to that table, and then whoever finishes at the top, they get the trophy, maybe?
I like it. I love it. I'll go with it. We'll
'Cause
figure it out.
I'm kinda stealing that idea from hockey because they have the original 6 teams that they always talk about.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but just as a way of, like, recognizing those clubs that were there from the very beginning, you know?
Mhm.
And if there's promotion relegation, then I guess that would be thrown out the window because you're not
Ye
gonna you're not gonna, I don't know, award a trophy to a club that's gonna promote themselves at the end of the season for doing well and then coming back down and, whatever.
I suppose.
Yeah,
That's what, mid-season competition is for as well.
there you
Throw in
go.
a mid-season tournament or something in there.
Alright, so as far as postseason possibilities, we already know that Richmond is eliminated from the playoffs, but we do have Greenville that is still in the hunt, and their magic number at this point is 9. So they can't clinch this week, but if they could win against Richmond and rely on some other results around the league, it would certainly go a long way in helping them secure, um, a seat at the table in the playoffs, and it would also cut down on their magic number as well.
Mhm,
They do have the easiest schedule finishing out the season because they only have 1 match against a playoff club, which would be after Richmond. They host Northern Colorado. After that, they go to Fuego, they go to Chattanooga, and then they host Lexington.
mhm.
So it's an entirely manageable schedule.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
can climb up into the standings and they can secure their place. This is a schedule where they can do that.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. They definitely need this one. A lot to play for, if you're Greenville, and a lot to play for as well for Richmond. I mean, if they're gonna do well next season, why not start it this season by going on a tear here at the end of the season? Because their schedule as well. I mean, they're the second easiest schedule remaining, at home versus Tormenta, at One Knox, and then at home versus Central Valley Fuego.
Mhm.
So a big opportunity for them to go into next season with some momentum. That being said, I really feel like Greenville probably comes and gets the W in this one. Um, it kind of cements themselves as serious playoff contenders, and I think they come in and beat Richmond 2-1.
You're saying 2-1 Greenville?
2-1 Greenville.
I'll go 2-0 Greenville.
Along the same lines, just that will work.
Yeah,
I just think it's so tough with Richmond being eliminated already. You
yeah.
know.
Hopefully City Stadium is still rocking though.
Oh, I have no doubt. I mean,
Yeah,
Kickers fans have showed out all season. I don't expect that to change anytime soon. Nor
yeah,
do I expect it to change next season as well. I think the Kickers fans are here to stay at this point. We've seen a steady growth from them over the past few years, and I think it's only getting better for them.
yeah. And speaking of reasons to be jealous of other clubs, so Richmond has the amazing attendance, amazing atmosphere. Charlotte, we did not mention this earlier. They are going to be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month this weekend, and they're going to be having 9 vendors, food vendors at the match this weekend. I am incredibly jealous of that because you know that they're going to be having some really good food.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt.
yeah. So hopefully, if you're in the Charlotte area, head out there to the stadium and check out those vendors, support the local businesses, support the local team, have a great time.
Yeah.
Same thing there in City Stadium.
Mhm. So
Uh,
we have Tim in the live
yeah,
chat as well. Again, Going back to talking about the founder's idea trophy. Um, Tim asking, would you rather do that or would you rather rename the regular season shield as the quote founder shield with the crests of all five of the original teams on there? And also saying trophies for the sake of trophies don't really hit with me. Fair point.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, fair point. I do really like your idea of renaming the regular season title shield, which I still don't know what the hell the name is. It's if somebody could actually give me the name of it, I would appreciate it.
Isn't it just the League One Shield?
I have no idea.
Because I always see, like, shield winners, but I don't see any, like,
Yeah,
preceding verbiage.
yeah. Maybe rename it to the Founder Shield.
Yeah, call it the Founder's Shield.
Yeah. Tim saying I think they're trying to go with
Oh,
Supporter Shield.
yeah, that would make sense too. That because that's, like, MLS style.
Yeah, but I like Founder Shield better.
Yeah, it sounds cooler.
It does. Plus, it distinguishes League One
Yeah,
from everybody else.
yeah.
But it would also be really embarrassing if they one of the founding teams never won it.
Well, Richmond already did,
Richmond already did, I suppose. And I think they actually got the plate too. Didn't I remember last year they got the plate already?
and Greenville already won it too, didn't they?
Did they retroactively go back and give it to clubs?
Yeah, because they gave it to Union Omaha too.
They did? I've only ever seen Union Omaha's runner up one from the 2020.
Nope, they have the
Oh,
Shield now too.
damn. I need to get
Yeah,
into the front office a little bit more and kind of actually look at the trophies. But
they, retroactively delivered it to Union Omaha, and it was sort of like, "Okay,
here you guys go.
cool, thanks." Yeah,
Put it put it in the
very
trophy case.
unceremonious.
You mean the Amazon package driver that
Exactly.
uses part of the Warner lot in Warner Park, dropping it off and saying, "Here you go," hitting the Ring doorbell and walking away. That wasn't ceremonial enough?
I need someone to sign for this.
"Sir, this is a very heavy plate. We need you to sign." Oh, man. Well, that being said, on Saturday, we also have a another match at 7 o'clock for this one. This one is Lexington SC hosting the Chattanooga Red Wolves. This is an interesting match. Again, I'm sorry for everybody listening. Not one of the more exciting matches of this weekend, um, but definitely a match where both teams coming into it could use some momentum. Um, Chattanooga obviously to turn their season around a little bit, and Lexington to kind of bolster and raise up the table if they can in their first season.
Yeah, Lexington's not out of it. They're still mathematically in the playoff race.
I think when you emphasize mathematically, that is that's that's kind of saying, yeah, you're in it, but
Yeah,
probably not.
you got, like, less than a 1% chance, but you still got it. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yes, yes, we are all Lloyd Christmas in this moment.
Exactly.
So Tim actually coming in and is currently doing the research on what they call the shield. So, um,
Yep.
yeah, it's
I
saying
didn't know it
that,
was a championship shield. Okay, yeah, I knew that MLS had supporters shield.
yeah,
I didn't know
um,
about championship.
the shield is called the Player Shield in League One. That's
Player
according
shield.
to, oh, geez, Ethan Tribesh. Is that how you say his last name?
Oh, that's the social media guy at, USL headquarters
Yeah,
for
is
League
that?
One.
I don't remember if that's how you say his last name or not. So
Treepsch? Tripsch?
I'm pretty sure he
Sorry,
listens.
Ethan.
So
Yeah,
Ethan,
sorry.
go ahead and flame us on this and just kind of let us know exactly how to
Yeah.
spell your or how to pronounce your last name, and we will do better.
Your
Um,
name wasn't in the pronunciation guide, so that's why.
right? Yeah. And you've listened to the show, you know, pronouncing people's names is not our strong suit. Um, but um, yeah, USL Championship is called the Championship Shield. MLS is the Supporter Shield, and League One is the Players Shield.
Yeah. And Tim jumping in saying, sadly, the league office didn't come with a media/pronunciation guide. Very true.
Yeah, you guys got to put your own names in there too. And what are you gonna do? But anyway, back to Lexington and Chattanooga. Um,
So
yeah,
Lexington, they still have that Jekyll and Hyde situation going on with them, where they're not as great on the road, but they're very, very good at home. They are still trying to find that consistent path to a win at home. They're sitting at 6-6-2 at home. So only having two losses in your inaugural season in League One, that's a huge success in my book.
definitely.
And they're going up against Chattanooga, who not so great on the road. They only have one win on the road.
And one draw,
Yeah.
12 losses. Yikes. And they don't score very much away from home either.
No.
The Den is very, very kind to Chattanooga.
Mhm.
Always has been and always will be, obviously. But away, I mean, Chattanooga just doesn't score and gives up almost 2.5 goals a game. I mean, you are really hard pressed to win any matches doing that, especially away from home.
The only win they have, so both the results they had, the one win and the one draw, were in consecutive weeks. They had a 3-2 victory against One Knox, and then they followed it with a 1-1 draw against Fuego. Um, and in their past few weeks, in their last 5 matches, they've scored three away matches. They've scored 3 goals,
Hmm.
but they've also let in 9 goals.
Yeah,
So that's not looking too great either. I am curious about how Chattanooga is going to line up because they've been getting huge production out of Javon Marsh. And then Ropapa Mensa, Riley Kraft. I mean, these are guys who have been producing consistently for the club.
hmm
When they line up against Lexington, Chattanooga seems to have quite a bit of speed on their side as well. They have
yeah.
plenty of grit as well. Lexington has a lot of speed too. This is going to be a very fast match to watch, like very back and forth, very loose, very open. I think this one's, oh man, I feel like this one's going to come down to 1v1 battles and interceptions, like picking up the loose ball.
hmm Yeah, it's definitely going to be a foot race most of the time. And that being said, if it's a foot race, I really tend to lean Lexington's way with
Yeah.
some of their forwards. I mean, obviously, um, they're really good, and especially at home. So I feel like Chattanooga is really going to be stuck kind of between a rock and a hard place on this one. They're not very good on the road, and Lexington is very good at home. So
Yeah.
I mean, it it's really tough. However, Chattanooga has beaten Lexington this season. All the way back in week 7, they beat them 3-1. So not just kind of a fluky,
Oh, yeah.
not kind of a fluky win there. And then in week 14, Lexington did get revenge and beat Chattanooga 2-0. So each with
So
a win.
both teams that play considerably better at home won their home matches.
Yep. So I mean, if we're really if we're really looking at something here, it's got to be who's at home, and with Lexington being at home, that's a huge advantage.
Ooh, I want to look something up real quick. Impromptu research.
I need to get a
I'm gonna-
soundboard so you don't have to say it every time. As soon as you say, "Oh, I'm going to look something up," I'll just hit the buzzer.
I so thought about downloading that air horn app, like "Meow, meow, meow,"
Yeah.
just to play that as we were doing the podcast here too. So when Lexington is at home, so 1 point, 4 points, 7 points, 10 points, 13 points. When they have a clean sheet, so of the one, two, three, four, 5 clean sheets they've had at home, 4 of those turned into a victory. One of them was a 0-0 draw, and that was against Madison, a team that knows how to score.
Yeah,
So if you're a team that's going to be visiting Lexington and you are depending on scoring goals to keep up with Lexington, um, I'm not looking at Chattanooga and feeling like I have a whole lot of faith in that situation.
yeah. No, not a whole lot in this at all, definitely.
The reason I was looking up that stat was to see if Lexington was holding their opponents to a clean sheet, but at the same time drawing and only collecting 1 point from those that possible three. But because they're picking up those 3 points when they're shutting out their opposition, that tells a whole different story. That Lexington, when they play at home, they know how to win. They know how to close the game.
They do.
So how about predictions?
Oh, I mean, I've I really feel like Lexington being at home and being one of the better home teams in the league, in the top half at least, and Chattanooga being the worst away team. Uh, I got I got to go with Lexington, and unfortunately for Chattanooga, I think it's going to be a bit of a barn burner, and I'm going to say 4-0. I
Wow.
just they give up so many goals away, and they do not score, and Lexington is fast, very very fast. And I don't think Chattanooga is sound enough on defense to be able to stop something like that.
So my biggest concern with this match, of the ones that I've already expressed, but one that's going to be affecting the a possible sticking point in the outcome of the match. Um, I feel like this one could be one in where we see tempers flare,
Hmm.
and I feel like that may inhibit Lexington's scoring ability. I'm still going to go with the Lexington victory, but I'm going to say Lexington 2-0 instead of 4-0.
That's fair. Yeah, I may have been a little bit aggressive, but I'm good for one crazy prediction per week, and I think that's going to be the one.
Update. Yeah. Okay. We're completely up to date on our scores. All right. And excuse me, in between scores, there was a goal in the North Carolina Central Valley match. North Carolina scored in the 28th minute. So it is 1-0 in the 32nd minute of that
Hmm.
match.
And Tim also saying in the live chat that it was a It seems to him like it was a blown call, saying that Anderson was
Oh,
offside.
whole body offside. Ooh,
Now, I'm going to throw the caveat in there that League One cameras, not the best. The camera angles, not the best.
the broadcast cameras.
Correct. The broadcast cameras.
The Speedio ones, give you a whole lot better, um,
Yeah.
look at what could be happening, but we don't have access to that.
Yeah. No, I wish we did. And Tim saying to watch the replay with 4 periods at the end.
4
Um,
periods.
that's how you know he's serious. 4 periods at the end.
Yeah.
That'll do it. I'll have to go back and take a look. I'll be watching this match back um at some point anyway. So
And who else to score for North Carolina than Oleg Anderson? I mean, that dude is on fire.
absolute
And I
fuego.
no pun intended playing against Fuego. I know. I'm sorry. That was stupid. That was bad.
Should have just
But
went with it. It's Hispanic Heritage Month.
no.
He's absolutely fuego.
And I had another, one earlier tonight when Lalo Delgado saved that PK. I tweeted out that he has ice in his veins, and I didn't mean a pun intended for that one either.
Mm,
But it was right there for the taking.
right there. Got to capitalize on those.
Oh, they gotta switch those labels around. They have Northern Colorado labeled as Omaha. Oops.
Mm.
All right.
So we also can talk about Lexington for just a quick second here. They are the only
Yes.
club that can be eliminated this week.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We can talk about that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes. So we did give a little bit of we dropped that hint earlier in the episode. So this is where we can actually talk about Lexington's elimination scenario, and they have four different scenarios in which they can be eliminated from playoff contention this week.
Oof.
Um, yeah, and all right. So it starts off with they control their own destiny first and foremost. If they lose or draw against Chattanooga, they're done. Now, regardless of their result, the next three scenarios come into play. If Madison wins, okay, so we can actually eliminate one of those scenarios because they did not beat Northern Colorado tonight. So that one's out the window. So
Yep.
the next scenario would be if Madison wins at Charlotte and Greenville beats Richmond, Lexington is out. Now we come to our final scenario, the third scenario here. So Madison did draw against Northern Colorado. If they also draw against Charlotte and Greenville wins at Richmond, then Lexington is done.
Hmm.
So those are the three scenarios. That's how thin of a thread uh, the playoff hopes are hanging on for Lexington.
Hmm. Yeah, not great. Um, again, mathematically still in, but
Yeah,
not looking great.
yeah. All right, let's jump forward. Okay, this one, man, this is one of those where it's going to be such a good one, but there are other matches that are going to be really good this weekend too. But this one carries quite a bit of storylines with it.
Hmm.
You have Tormenta playing against One Knox. Now I mislabeled that one. So Tormenta is eighth in the league right now, and One Knox is seventh in the league right now. So you have those two. Battling those two neighbors battling for that sixth seed. This is going to go a long way in not only getting closer to that sixth seed, but also keeping your opponents from getting that sixth seed. So this is a huge match for both Tormenta and One Knox.
Hmm. Yeah, this is um I mean there's teams that are positioned well in the playoffs threshold. These two teams are within 1 point of each other, obviously. 4 and 5 point back, 4 and 5 points back from Greenville. However, both of these teams have one more game played than Greenville as well. So um, it's definitely an uphill battle, but you have to win this one. I think the
Yeah,
team that wins this one will be the team that is going to push for that sixth seed, whether it's Greenville or Forward Madison sitting in that position.
yep. And we've seen Tormenta make these late season runs in the past.
Hmm.
So this could, last week when they beat top ranked North Carolina, that could be the confidence boost they needed to, have a resurgence again this late in the season.
Hmm.
Um, they got to do it against a tough one Knox team, though.
Yeah. Yeah. One Knox is no pushover, and they are one of the better teams in the league away from home. Um, and this is another one of those situations where you have a team playing at home that is not very good at playing at home. Matter of fact, Tormenta is 11th in the league with their home ranking, um, and they give up quite a few goals, almost 2 goals for their average at home, while only scoring 1.5 goals at home on average. So um, only one clean sheet at home. Um, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle because we know that One Knox has a great defense. Um, that being said, Tormenta's biggest strength is their offensive production. So it's a great offense versus a great defense. Which one do you put more stock in? And I think that's where you really have to put into perspective that Tormenta's at home and Knoxville is away. I think that is the
And
key.
which are you giving credence to? More credence here too. One Knox trying to recover from that tough loss against Greenville last week, or Tormenta's confidence having beaten top-ranked North Carolina.
Mhm. I feel like you gotta, unfortunately, because of, I guess, unfortunately isn't the way, but um, the I think I put more stock in beating a top tier, top of the table team than I do reeling after a tough loss. Um, we've seen Tormenta do this before and go on runs, and that's what they have to do. They cannot drop points. They have to win all of their remaining matches to make this happen. Um, that being said, again, the team did it last year, and they won the championship. So um, this this Tormenta team has the shot to do it, but they're coming up against a very tough One Knox team. Um, I keep going back and forth. I could see this going either way.
I completely agree. I Here's another thing to consider. In the previous matchups, they faced off in week 6 as well as 25. In both cases, the visitor won, and they won decidedly. In week 6, Tormenta beat One Knox 2-0. In week 25, One Knox beat Tormenta 3-1. So the home team has only scored 1 goal, and the visitors have scored 5 goals in this matchup, in this series so far. And it kinda tells it kinda falls in line. If you look at week 6, this was still a Tormenta side that I think at the end of week 6, they were in 3rd place. Yeah, at the end of week 6, Tormenta was still in 3rd place, so they still had confidence when they won against One Knox in that 2-0 victory. Then in week 25, just a couple weeks ago, One Knox was still in their unbeaten streak. I think that streak lasted 5 weeks or 5 matches where they went undefeated.
Mhm.
So, these were both teams that played the other and won in the middle of riding high with their confidence. You have Tormenta who just beat North Carolina. I know that we've said it, multiple times here. I mean, you have the team with more confidence winning in these past couple matchups, and now you have Tormenta coming in. I I don't we see that One Knox is ranked above Tormenta, so technically this would be an upset. Are you going so far as to sound the upset alert or the upset alarm on this one?
I don't. And I mean, technically, yes, it would be an upset, but I don't really see this as an upset. I mean, these are two teams that are so similar in the table that they're separated by a point. So, um, as far as upset alert, unfortunately for Tormenta, I just don't see how they can get it done against a team that plays this well on the road, and Tormenta being a team that plays this poorly at home. I know that I know Darren's going to be upset with that one, but um, unfortunately, I don't see it with Tormenta's home record this season.
He already called the airport and canceled your tickets.
Yeah,
All right, so you think One Knox is gonna win. What's your prediction?
I think it'll be close. Um, I'm gonna take one Knox 2-1. I think the averages on this one are going to be what it is. Tormenta gives up two, and um, Nox scores one, or Tormenta scores one. Excuse me.
Okay. I'm gonna flip that script on you. I'm gonna go with 2-1 Tormenta.
2-1 Tormenta. Going
I
against what the statistics say.
Yeah,
I'm shocked by this. This is a
I know.
revelation here.
This is crazy. Yeah.
Man, is this the end of days? Is that what we're saying right now?
Usually I'm the one with the glasses going, well, if you look at this and you look at that and you take into account this stat, you know. But no, yeah, we're going opposites again on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well, if that's what we're gonna do, then
yes. There we go. Look at
there.
that.
We'll flip the
So
script today.
distinguished. What a
Yeah.
gentleman.
Mhm.
There we go. I have mine. They're in the other room though. Oh well. Um, yeah, I am going with Tormenta on this one. I think that they have the confidence. They're going to carry it. They're going to finally, get a good outing and a good result at home. Um, for me, I think the loss to Greenville was pretty devastating because that was a must win for them. And when Tormenta was faced with a must win scenario, they prevailed. So I think Tormenta's going to go into this one feeling a whole lot better than what Knox does traveling to Statesboro. So I'm going to go 2-1 Tormenta.
All right. Uh, Tim also chiming in and saying USL One doesn't listen to nerd glasses. You need beer goggles to decipher this league. True.
Very
Good thing
true.
we've got both of them.
Yeah. We'll anytime we have a featured guest on the show, we'll ship them a case of the summer beer.
Yeah, there you go. Got to get their real feelings in there.
Just wait till we have Eamon on and we're all drinking Irish whiskey that night.
That'd be great. I got some upstairs, so
I
I'm
gotta
ready
get
for
some.
it.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, when we did invite Eamon, I included in that email chain with the person that we were trying to schedule it with. I asked him, uh, hey, so what kind of whiskey does Eamon like to drink, or does he prefer beer or something like that? Because I said, whatever Eamon wants to drink, I will buy some of that for that interview when he comes on the show, and I will drink it alongside him.
Right. Yep.
All right, so we have that one in the books. Now, okay, so I wanted to talk to you about this scenario. Um, it was revealed on the league website, and I did the math, and it does check out. Imagine, so we know that League One is known for chaos. Now,
Yes.
imagine this scenario. You have Richmond defeating Greenville, and you have One Knox defeating Tormenta. Suddenly, you have Tormenta within 1 point of Greenville, and in doing so, being 1 point away from the playoff threshold. Now, looking down the stretch, Greenville does look, excuse me, like they have the easier schedule, but that would go right in line with all the chaos that we've come to expect and absolutely love from League One.
True. I like it. I mean, that sounds like what the script writers would have wrote up for League One. So
Yeah,
don't be surprised if it happens.
yeah. All right, let's jump into the next Saturday evening match, which is going to be Union Omaha hosting Central Valley Fuego. Teams on opposite ends of both the league standings as well as home and away ranks, recent results, scoring tendencies. I mean, everything.
Hmm.
They're complete opposites straight down the list. Um, I mean, even when you read the league previews of this one, the league is pretty much already declaring Union Omaha a victory on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. This
So
is,
I'm sorry, Fuego fans.
yeah. I was just going to say, this is, even being a Union Omaha supporter, this is the most boring match of the weekend. Um, Union Omaha is playing lights out. Fuego, as I said last week, is not playing well. I'm trying to find the silver lining in this, but statistically, Omaha has is better all over. They score more goals at home. They give up fewer goals at home. And I'm sorry, Fuego. I don't see any way that Fuego comes into Fortress Warner and gets a W, let alone points off of Union Omaha. I think right now Union Omaha is playing too well for most teams in the league to be able to beat. So um, if it if I am gonna say Fuego gets it done in Omaha, it is going to be because they play a lights out performance, and I'm talking they've got to hit Omaha quickly and silence the crowd that is going to be um, that should be revved up. I mean, Omaha is doing Oktoberfest in the parking lot before, as Tim said in the live chat. Um,
It's the last weekend match.
it's the last weekend match. The weather is not going to be great from what we can see right now. Hopefully, this is not a lightning delayed match, which it may or may not be. So they either bodes really well for Fuego or horribly for Fuego. I mean, if they're still selling beer during the lightning delay, that place is going to get rowdy. So, um, yeah, as Tim says in the live chat, Omaha can't get complacent. Um, but Fuego can score quickly, and Fuego does not lose matches big. They just don't. They lose a lot of matches. They just don't lose big. They put in good performances. Um, Omaha again, as Tim kind of says in the live chat as well. Omaha has a fascination with trying to piss matches away. So Fuego is one of those teams that can come back and bite you if you let them do it. So I will say this is definitely going to be much closer than Omaha fans are going to like. Um, but I still have Omaha winning this match, and I'm going to say 3-2 again.
So I don't have to work Sunday. So if that delay does go late and they're offering alcohol, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm all in.
for sure.
As far as a result for this one, yeah, I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be a one goal differential to carry on with the theme of Central Valley, you know, matches this season. Union Omaha is one of two clubs that Central Valley has not scored against yet this season. The other club being Greenville. So for Central Valley to do that on the road would be a bit of a surprise. At the same time, if they did it late in the match, it wouldn't surprise me because of what we've seen. I think piss this away. Is this the end of the streak? You know, all that kind of stuff. Um, so what did you say?
I said 3-2 Union Omaha.
3-2. Oh man, that's a good one. I'll go 2-1 Union Omaha. I'm right there with you. I think it'll be a one goal difference.
Hmm.
So you're saying 3-2. I'll say 2-1. And let me check one more thing here because I don't know that Central Valley has scored multiple goals that often on the road. Let me check here. Oop, there we go. Um, they've only scored more than one goal on the road in four different matches, all in very tough environments too.
Hmm.
At Richmond, at Lexington, at Charlotte, and at Madison.
Oh yeah,
Oh man, they rise to the occasion.
yes they do.
Jeez. And they pulled off a win in Chattanooga 1-0. Oh man. Yeah, they know how to play in tough environments.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm still going with a Union Omaha victory though.
Hmm. That's honestly seems fair for what's kind of been going on as of late.
Yeah. And then moving forward, Union Omaha has some tough matches too. At North Carolina versus Charlotte, at Tormenta, at Madison. And the league is saying that's the ninth hardest for strength of schedule.
Ugh,
Man, that
yeah,
seems way too low for
I feel like there's a lot of ties in here that they just kind of had to get put and just put a number on things without saying tied for whatever.
yeah. Oof. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough match on Saturday night though. And
Definitely.
hopefully the weather um cooperates long enough that we can have a match. I know that we're getting late in the season and they're
Can't
not
be
gonna want to reschedule all that kind of stuff. That would be
no.
tough.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna try to shift it to as late as they can.
Yeah. Because I think there was even Lexington a week or two ago when they had a weather delay. For some reason, I want to say maybe they were playing northern Colorado. Maybe I can't remember who it was. They were even looking to like start as late as possible, like even late into the night. They were going to be playing that one. So
Mhm.
they're going to do what they have to do to make it happen.
Yep.
But since I don't have to work Sunday, doesn't bother me. I'll just keep a sleeping bag in my car and we'll be all
There you
right.
go. That's all you gotta do. Perfect.
All right. So we have talked about week 28, all these matches leading up to the headliner. This is ending week 28 on the probably the best possible matchup you can think of.
Yep.
And that is Northern Colorado hosting North Carolina. And that one is going to be Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time. Um, this this is crazy, and I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Yeah,
Definitely the biggest one this week for sure.
because sitting right now with North Carolina leading Central Valley, and then Northern Colorado drawing against Fort Madison, they're 1-2 now.
Mhm.
So it gets even more interesting. I think right now with North Carolina, yeah, they would be at 53 points. So North Carolina would be in first place right now.
Yep.
Man,
It will likely be a 1-2 matchup when the time
yeah,
comes.
yeah, this is going to be such a fun one to watch. Um, Northern Colorado, third place at home, but I mean, not by much at all. Uh, well, I guess with current results, they would be in second place at home. Um, both Northern Colorado and North Carolina have both. Nope, that can't be right. There we go. Yeah, Northern Colorado would still be third place. They've earned 29 points at home, 9 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. The only reason they are in third place, they're tight on points with Charlotte, but they have one less in the goal differential department. Man. Yeah, and Northern Colorado's hitting on all cylinders right now. Like the way that they were playing earlier tonight, Lalo Delgado saving that PK. You have Trevor Amen. I mean, he's man, he's just killing it in the league. Um, you look up and down Northern Colorado's roster, and they're getting noticed every single week for something.
Mhm.
So, and then on the flip side, you have plenty of players over in North Carolina who are making the highlight reel every single week. So, just combining those two forces together, this is obviously the headliner.
Yeah. This this one is going to be it's gonna be a good match, that's for sure. You gotta like Northern Colorado's chances going into it based off of run of form. Um, 5 wins in their last 5, and North Carolina sitting at 2-0 and 3. So, um, you gotta like the run of form better for Northern Colorado. I think overall, roster wise, I think NCFC is a little bit more talented, maybe, than Northern Colorado. Um, but that being said, Northern Colorado can score a hell of a lot of goals. They do at home as well. They're just over 2 goals a game at home, only giving up just over 1 goal a match. Um, but North Carolina is the best away side in the league. Um, they score almost 2 goals a match and only give up about 1.5 goals per match. So um, this is this is one of those matches where it's hard to talk about because both of these teams are just that good. Um, yeah, you get excited for it, but these are two high-powered offenses. Defense can sometimes be optional with these teams, so um, hopefully both of these teams make sure that they keep it reined in, so we don't see a 5 goal thriller. I'm not going to predict 5 goal thrillers for this match. I think it's going to end up being a lot closer um, than anybody thinks, and that's kind of backed up by the season series. These teams didn't play until week 20 of the season, where NCFC beat Northern Colorado 2-0, and then only 4 weeks later, Northern Colorado beat North Carolina 2-1. So, I mean, this is anybody's match. This match here is going to show. I think the winner of this match will be one of the top two playoff teams come the end of the season. Whoever wins this match will get number one or number two for sure. Um, that being said, a lot of weight on both of these teams' shoulders. I just don't know, and both of these teams are pretty high up with the remaining schedules, so they're going to have to get 3 points here if they want to guarantee that top spot. Tim coming in saying, "Good thing they're going to draw." Um, man, I are they though? They haven't drawn all season. Um, both of these sides don't draw really at home or away. They tend to win more than they do anything else, but only 2 draws for both of these in their respective areas. So, uh, I'm just keeping myself talking at this point as I'm trying to think of who I want in this match. It's so evenly matched. I don't know who's gonna win.
So North Carolina took the week 20 match in the series when they hosted Northern Colorado. And then the next time Northern Colorado came to town in week 24, Northern Colorado took the victory. So now that they're going back to Windsor for the first time this season, um, I am. Oh man, I feel like I should keep myself talking too. I'm going to go with a 2-1 hailstorm. I could have played that out like 2-1 North Earn, Colorado.
Yeah. I feel like after our conversations last week, either of us could have said the wrong team and then be like, "Oh no, that's not what I meant. That's not the team I meant." So we got them mixed up multiple times last week.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm ready to make my prediction, and my prediction is
That's like 6 dots by now.
3-1 Northern Colorado.
Wow. 3-1 either way. I was going to say wow, but man, okay. 3 to
I don't
1.
feel great about it, to be honest. Because I don't know. I just threw a number out, and honestly, I see that Northern Colorado has 3 wins to NCFC's 1 win in their head-to-head. So there you go. That's where I got the number.
Yeah. And North God, there it is right there. North Carolina has never won in Windsor.
I mean, to be fair, not very many teams have one in Windsor. To be
Huh,
perfectly,
true.
to be fair here,
Yeah. But even all time, North Carolina's never won there.
in Colorado.
Yeah.
In every like 15 locations, Northern Colorado had a field set up last season.
Yep.
And Tim coming in right on cue saying, "Come on, did they ever actually play in Windsor last year?" He's
You
got
too, man. Right
he's,
on the same
he's
wavelength there.
got a point. You know, us
Yeah.
us Liverpool fans, we just read each other mind.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this innocently because I have
Mhm.
not looked at any of the Champions League scores from today. Did Liverpool how'd they do this week?
They're in the Europa League.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, now I feel even worse. I'm so sorry.
I feel like you did it on purpose, and now you're just trying to play coy and like, "Oh no, I didn't know. Yeah, sorry, man." Hmm. Hmm. Sure.
My bad. All right, so that is all of the matches that are to be taking place this week. Those are the previews that we have for all of those matches in week 28. We're going to jump into the questions and answers here because we did get a question from John Hunt on Twitter, and there was a post from Walkin 90, and in it they were asking for opinions that would have you essentially, you know, what opinion do you have related to League One that you're, I don't know, that
That would get
essentially you're willing to die on that hill for?
yeah, get publicly ridiculed for.
Yeah. And there were a vast series of responses that came in to that tweet. Anything from fans should be getting along to certain should teams should be allowed into the league, where as other teams should be kicked out of League One. Trying to define the definition of a community club, um, how we should set the standard for developing rivalries on the banters online. I mean, there was a whole, smorgasbord of uh, replies in here. There are a lot of these that I agree with,
Mhm,
mostly related to how fans are treating each other online. Um, there are some of these I don't care about the definition of community club. I really that's I'm willing to read the responses amongst people and to read that, the debates on that
mhm,
one, but I don't care enough about that topic to jump in and sound off on anything like that.
mhm,
As far as rivalries, I think that goes along with a lot of the fan engagement and the way that they treat each other. I don't think that rivalries I agree with the Green Booho who said that they should take years, even decades to grow and develop. I agree. At the same time, it's League One has had how many teams come and go in the league since 2019. So for teams to automatically look to assign extra meaning to certain matches, whether it be for a regional aspect or their interactions with fans online, whatever, fans are going to look to assign extra meaning. Um,
mhm,
there's one topic in League One that I would post in here, um, but I am 100% not going to. Because I know the reaction I'm going to get if I say that, and I have no interest in even talking about it. I hold that opinion, and I have no problem holding that opinion inside. I also have no interest in trying to get into any sort of heated debate about that topic either. So it's not even worth trying to sound off on.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, just kind of going through the list. I mean, the first one from Catherine saying fans should get along. I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me if fans get along or not. It's never been a thing. I don't get along with Colorado fans that come to Nebraska for games, generally speaking. But I
Football.
just football, yes. But I don't. It just doesn't bother me if fans get along or not. I tend to just because I'm generally a nice person, so I will be nice and cordial, of course. But if somebody else wants to be a dick to an opposing fan because they're an opposing fan, that's their prerogative. It doesn't. It makes no difference to me personally.
Yeah.
Um, some other things on there. Some of the interesting ones. Kyle saying there's not enough actively online fans of the league to get me into that situation. I mean, it's a fair point. I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot more fans of this league that don't get into the echo chamber that is the Twitter sphere. So um, it makes sense.
I thought of one for you
Oh no.
that you're willing to face public ridicule for.
Hmm.
And you haven't shied away from this topic.
Yeah.
Uh, chirping at former players.
Oh yeah. Do it.
Yeah.
I former players, man. I mean, as long as you keep the banter about on field stuff, yeah, sure. I do it every single match.
Yeah.
It doesn't bug me in the slightest, and half the time I get thumbs up or smiles out of it because they know it's just friendly, me trying to get into their head, and more often than
Yeah.
not, it doesn't work. So I just do it to have fun.
I think there's only like a handful of players who it has actually gotten into their head. Um,
I remember each of them. I'm not going to
yeah.
publicly call them out, but I remember
Yeah.
each player that it did.
I was thinking them in my head and I almost let a couple of them slip, but yeah, I'm not gonna say them either.
Right. Um, Another one. This is to me. This is kind of a. It's a little bit hotter of a take, but it's not. He's not wrong, right? So Alex Ashton with League One Updater saying USL One is the lowest pro league. Stop complaining about the refs. Fair, yes, you have a good point, Alex. Yes, but my only issue that I would take umbrance in that is that if we don't complain about the lack of training and accountability these referees have, it's never going to change. If you complain enough about it, they're eventually going to have to take notice, um, and hopefully better train their referees because not only is better training their referees good for League One, it's good for their organization as a whole because they will have better referees for the rest of the leagues that they are involved in. So, um, but yes, to a point, it should definitely slow down maybe a little bit. I think a lot of fans get a bit excessive about the littlest things.
Yeah. Um, I feel like I should apologize to Alex because I'm one of those people who has bitched about the refs in the past. So I'm definitely in the guilty party there. Um, I think for me, it just came from a place of frustration.
Mm.
I don't think it was any sort of I don't know. I don't think it was coming from any intentional standpoint of being facetious or anything like that. I was just upset with the refs in the moment, but yeah, I can see where he's coming from. It's it's third party or it's third division, US soccer. Like, get over it.
Mhm.
at the same time, yeah, I can see it both ways. I've complained about the refs enough. Yeah. Sorry, Alex.
um, Gosh, let's see. I don't want to hit too many more because I know we're definitely running up on, on the
Are we
length of
really?
the episode being pretty
Oh, yeah,
long.
we are. Oh, look at
Yeah.
that. Oh my gosh, we are.
Um, let's see. In an interesting one. Yeah, I'll get two more. I know I got two in here that I definitely want to hit on. Um, Chip with Walkin 90 saying too many teams make the playoffs. It's fair, I guess. I guess it's fair, but I understand. I mean, it we all know the reason, right? Do we really have to say the reason out loud why there's so many of the teams in the playoffs? I don't think we have to. So,
I don't think we do.
um,
Yeah.
and if you don't, let me know. Send us a DM, and we will let you know what the reason for that many teams is.
Yeah. We can do it with a single symbol. How about that? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't catch that if you weren't watching the live stream. So,
No.
um, send a DM.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I thought was interesting here is from Braden Johnson at saying that Omaha has the best grass pitch in the league. That is definitely a take that will get you publicly ridiculed. And so I feel like, as far as takes from this tweet that hit the nail on the head, I think Braden is definitely the winner of this tweet.
Congratulations, sir. That's a hell of a take.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a
Um,
take for sure.
I mean, and I know that in the comments below that, people mentioned North Carolina and people mentioned Richmond, and he said, well, they have consistent weather all year round and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but Omaha plays in a baseball stadium and they lay out rugs to cover the I mean, yeah, I don't agree with that take, but
Yeah,
I'm certainly entertained by his.
yeah. I mean, and I don't agree either, but that is the, as far as the spirit of the tweet, perfect,
Yeah, yep,
perfect.
he wins.
Um, yeah, and I will say there was a piece of the turf that came up the other night that I saw. Shaft Brewer Jr. stomping back down on the side of the pitch during a water break. So, um, whatever though. Definitely
Yeah,
right for all the reasons you said though. I mean, this is not a consistent climate, and when you lay rugs down, that tends to happen.
Tim. All
Perfect.
right, well, if we don't have any other questions or comments, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Tim, you're hilarious as always. Love you, buddy.
Very much.
Um, all right, so thanks for tuning in to another episode of League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter at I'm Rich, but I'm not, and that is Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace. We will have plenty of more, uh, posts coming on social media here. So seek us out, find other episodes. We have plenty of more stuff coming. So we're gonna bring all the League One coverage to you.
Yep. All righty. Well, thank you guys. See you next time.